Okay, so Echo Valley is directed by Michael Pearce, who directed Beast back in 2017. I highly recommend checking that one out. This is the new movie from Apple TV, out on June 13th. Is it worth your time? Let's find out. I wrote these words down while watching this movie. With family like these, who needs enemies? That's not a spoiler, it just is part of what we get in this film. And what we get in this film is Julianne Moore playing a grieving wife who has a druggie for a daughter. She has a small homestead where she looks after horses and teaches people to ride. But for now, life has her trying to deal with profound loss and her daughter's latest mess up due to drugs controlling her. Enter Sydney Sweeney, who brings her character to life as the daughter, Claire. And Claire is a drug addict. We know that. We see that, but what we don't know is why. This movie doesn't slow up the pace with huge flashback scenes. Instead, it treats its audience as intelligent people for the most part.
Mostly.
We have to figure out what has happened in the past and what is going to happen in the story thread. And for the most part, you do that. Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney's on-screen relationship as mother and daughter is remarkably realistic. You believe they love each other, but you can also see the years of strain on their relationship. One of the movie's strongest themes is the showcase of what that love looks like. What wouldn't a loving parent do for their child, even as a detriment to themselves? Personally, this part of the story resonated with me deeply. Not because I've experienced this as a parent, having lucked out with my two kids, now teens, now adults, but because I resonated with the theme of what it costs to be a parent. Yes, it's a privilege, but don't let anybody tell you it's not messy. It's a fantastic, messy, joyous ride of memories. I love the way the director pulls at these strings. There are beautiful love-building relationship moments between mother and daughter here, but everything is soiled with an undercurrent of sadness, loss, and tension that's clearly woven into the pacing of Echo Valley, so that when we get into the last act of the film, we are already feeling tense, even though what we've been seeing on screen, for the most part, is drama, broken relationships, and grief.
Mostly.
The movie is essentially two movies in one, but these two stories work well together to form a cohesive narrative that has a very satisfying ending, as well as a sort of a will she or won't she moment, a sort of is the spinning top still spinning or did it fall over? You know that scene at the end of Inception? Although it's not as nearly as crucial to the story, it's a pivotal moment for the character development and motivation. And I think it will have those watching asking, will she? Well, did she? The cinematography and filming techniques used to convey the story are also very creative here, and the visual aesthetics color palette lends itself nicely to themes of loss and pain. There is a wonderfully creative way to visually show what it is like for someone under the influence of a particular drug. I've not seen it done before like this, and I loved it. We've seen some gnarly depictions of this in other movies, but here it felt fresh and clever. It's used once, never as a gimmick, only to enhance the moment's tension. And talking about tension, I've discussed how genuine the relationship between the mother and daughter is in this, but Fiona Shaw as the best friend to Moore's character brings a different, much-needed dynamic. She plays Leslie Oliver and is a breath of fresh air. I must say, we are getting some powerhouse female actors here. Sydney Sweeney as a drug addict and daughter is all over the place in the best way. She ranges from sweet daughter to crazed druggie very quickly and is great to watch, if not gut-wrenching. We see the cost of having an addict in the family. Julianne Moore is so good at understated acting. Slight expressions on her face and subtle body movements reveal what her character is going through. I'm never wondering what she's feeling. Even if she's showing very little, you still get it. But Fiona Shaw as Leslie is a light at the end of the tunnel. She's the sort of best friend who digs you out of a hole, who is just good for you, a joy to be around, and this movie needed that. Otherwise, while you are waiting for the final act, it's just doom and gloom. She is not the comedy act, but rather the light at the end of a very dark tunnel. The scripting and dialogue in this feel like they were recorded from someone's conversation by accident. This doesn't feel like many Hollywood scripts, where the characters are often so out of touch with how real people sound and talk. I can't tell you how many times I've laughed at Dawson's Creek or something more modern, not to show my actual age, where the dialogue is so very intellectual, so that every character sounds like they have a thesaurus on hand and have the most flamboyant language and best response to anything said at any given time. I like intelligent conversations, but I also enjoy them when the person speaking sounds like a neighbor I'd bump into at the store. They have to think about their responses. The dialogue is just that, a conversation. It's messy, real, witty at times, stupid in other moments, depending on the character speaking. Still, all feel like real, tangible dialogues from unfortunate, broken people, which, if you think about it, is 99% of the world's population, making this script and dialogue great. The only real negativity I have in this movie, if I'm forced to have one, is the bad guy, a dealer meant to be menacing. Domhnall Gleeson as Jackie, the dealer, is not fleshed out at all. And as I said at the beginning of my review, this movie lets you figure out who and what is going on here. We know exactly who this person is, mostly. He should be someone that, if you looked at him, you would cross the road. He should exude menace. Or maybe he shouldn't because he needs to stay under the radar. I don't know. I just know that when the movie called for it, for Jackie to be menacing, I was more afraid of the idea of him than the execution of him. Nothing I watched in him gave me the chills. He said the right words, but between his hairstyle and his soft demeanor, I just didn't buy it. I'm not sure if it's the acting or directing, I just didn't feel like the character was realized like it should have been. But that's a minor issue in an otherwise very enjoyable movie. Would I go back to it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that this is a very rewatchable movie, but don't let that deter you from a good movie. There are many movies that I find as great one-time watch viewing, or maybe even a rewatch, but a few years later. I need to let them simmer for a bit. This, for me, is one of those. It's got some great acting moments. It builds tension when you don't even know that it's doing that. Fiona Shaw is outstanding. All the performances are good. But once you know the ending and you've seen the outcome, it's not something that's going to draw you back to it anytime soon. There is no sex, some fucking language, a bit of violence, and a lot of melancholy. I give Echo Valley 3.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
I guess I was pretty horny.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed my review, consider watching one more or sharing this or liking it. Whatever you can do to support me would be greatly appreciated. Is there something coming out soon that you would like me to review? I'll try to add it to my list. But most importantly, give me your favorite movies with these three ladies: Fiona Shaw, Julianne Moore, and Sydney Sweeney. I think mine are, for Sweeney, I'd say Anyone But You, a perfect rom-com. For Julianne Moore, I'd say Magnolia or The Forgotten. For Fiona Shaw, I would say TV series: Killing Eve, Andor, True Detective. You take your pick, she's fantastic. Let me know yours, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.